대죠. 바이오 오시는 도시나 말.
That's a resource totem, a monument left behind by those that picked scrap, trying to keep the area clean. You can make so many amazing things out of wood scrap. Just be care-filled as you wander the woods. A face-off. Keep hammering away. The board mainly has posts from those that used to work at the chug yard back in the days gone. They don't make much sense these days. Not much more to say about the board, but Gizmo is holed up in the underyard here working on that. The Toxanol Corporation used to... They can carry you anywhere you like. Well, anywhere that they go to, and then you can leg it from there. You're on the right track. Keep your eyes open. Heroes make for the best stories. It's up to you if you want to be one. It's the chug yard. survives all the scavenging for scrap, and the yard has plenty to go around. But they should have stuck to looting instead of playing around with sprockets. Bomper Bonker's busy ram-banging the door. This is your chance. Running low. One down. There's a lot on the line here. Yes, you can do anything. The sky's the limit. Now, let's take this back to Earth. Wow, you really took that all the way down to the end, in flames. It's a wonder some of these up and downs still work. Guess they built machines better in the past. The spent nuclear fuel that toxanol dumped in the surf had detrimental effects on the marine habitats, while the overflowing landfills contaminated the groundwater.
Fan that flame!
Wait, no!
I've got all the...
Oh, do you have...
I don't have...
Would like... You should... There's short of breath and death to this zone. Better take care. He who half-breathed... That's the leftover you're looking for. Save your energy. He says that's enough to get the Mekton functional. You'll have it. Something he devised to salvage valuables from the ground. There are usually spots hidden beneath puddles of oily goo where you can use the net. He's been working on another project for the Mekton, a cannon, but it needs ammunition, and by that he means the scripts. He says if they're trained right, they'll turn into a distraction for the jumbo puff. The best way to find scripts is to go talk to Moog. He knows the ins and outs of every breathing thing left alive after the apocalypse. Unfortunately, this means you'll have to venture farther out into the dead zone. Gizmo thinks he's a little peculiar, but very knowledgeable. He has the ins and outs of all monster and creature whereabouts. The Grease Monkey's Mekton is built sturdy, just like himself. Can you imagine how this place used to look before the dead oil flood? Go stretch those clonky Mekton legs. Might want to hold your breath before you head any further. You're about to witness the breathtaking vistas of what's known as the Dead Zone. That over there is Steepo Depot, the cliffside that Moog hangs on to. Spring out. Not the easiest way to get up.
In more. Diava. Baba Zulu Amanka.
This one's impressed to see you out here. He figured you'd be dead by now.
Amanka.
Says a monster hunter hears many things on the wind.
Why add Fudlea higher?
Moog says that all your power doesn't do you a bit of good if you're not willing to pull the trigger when the time comes. Choosing what to kill and what to spare are the most important decisions you'll make. You might have a steady aim, but you need to be sure that you pick your targets with care. It's hard to make those life or death decisions for others, but someone's got to do it. Otherwise, they'll do it themselves, and you know they'll miss. Claims he mostly kills whoever he doesn't like. Says it's wild that the world seems to be coming back, but he supposes that means more monsters for him to shoot. Wonders why you work so hard to keep things alive. Bullets help thin the herd instead. Says you should give up on working with the stubborn myriad. He keeps trying to put out their lights and they keep putting up new ones. Says they keep the monsters away. He needs them closer, not farther. But enough of that, right? He says the wildlife, nature, has changed and turned against us. Instincts of survival took over when the world changed. He's not sure about their veggie diet anymore, and if it's changed, who knows what it's done with the chemical composition of their body output. Right now, though, he feels he's come to a point where he's got a pretty clear idea on the whereabouts of monsters, but thinks that it all hangs on the tree of life. When it started to fail, everything changed. Moog says you must learn to walk before you can run. It takes practice before you can call yourself a monster hunter. Fortunately for you, he can help. He understands you need to start off with something small before you go big. There's no better place to start than a squip cave. Hunting down a couple of these little critters for yourself should keep you on your toes. Says it's not far at all. Fortunately for you, the squips seem to have acclimatized themselves to the otherwise uninhabitable dead zone. Moog says you should go hunt for squips in the cave he... The deeper the night, the darker it gets. Wait, it's the scrip hole-up. The place is just filled with critters. Right between the eyes. Bites the dust. Take matters back into your own hands. Once the volatilization from the nuclear waste evaporated, a volatile gas rose through the soil and infested structures, even Toxanol's own buildings. So, in a way, they caused their own death. Idea. Go knock the lid off that sludge truck. It'll fill the place up and you can get up to that entrance there. Looks like the switches need to be turned to match so enough charge can flow through the conductors. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Not going to race away this time. Legs won't. Says a savior wouldn't. That's a gnote. Easy prey for Lupin. For everyone else, they're a perfect mount and easily tamed if they are kept fed. There are tough times ahead, no matter where you go. Graceful. Not opening for you. Let's see. He says that's enough scripts to sustain the Mekton's claw crane cannon. That's the special weapon he made to store the scripts in the Mekton. It will be strong enough to launch them at the Jumbo Puff. Gizmo's made vehicles before to confront the Jumbo Puff himself, but failed. But this time, it's different. The Mekton will be strong enough to do the job. It's time to put a stop to the World Eater now, otherwise he fears the damage it's caused to the tree already will be too much to handle. He asks you to not even think about taking on the Jumbo Puff on foot. You'll need the Mekton to do the job, take his word for it. There's time to improve the Mekton before He's sure you remember enough of what he taught you about upcycling to fit some skronky gear to the Mekton on your own. Gizmo wants to help if he can. Has plenty to do, so no worries. In the old world, roads like this really led somewhere. Now, most of them lead to disaster. Daytime is the best time to get things done. Stand up on your own 2 feet. Let's see. It's Skypook Outpost. The Ankati tribe blew life into that ages ago. Cautions you that they're aware you're allied to another tribe. Wants you to take your time as they're open for another couple of hours. There's no way they'll do that. They're smarter than... Love to hear a mount's footbeat. Just hold on tight. Back to your own stompers. Great view from up here. jumbo puff with an appetite ain't no fuzz. Better put an end to it before it ends our world. Jumbo Puff is kicking it up a notch. It's time for an electric performance. Bad feeling about this. It goes all the way down to the stomach. Start like a snack, and you'll end up with a ride down the intestinal canal. That's too close. Better pumped out than flushed down. Don't let it happen again. Wow, what a super-sized wormwhip. That must be as big as they come. You see, it's what's on the inside that counts. The Taurus is pumping at half a beat, and you know what to do. guessed it would go down with a throw-up. Can it really get any better than that? He thanks you for dealing with the first World Eater. It's a start. You should go see Out of Date and find out what you can about the machine he's named the Ark. You're good-hearted enough, so you'll have no problem getting him to share the information with you. He trusts you know where to find Out of Date by now. He's always been at the foot of the tree, and that hasn't changed. Gizmo will always make time for you. You really need to go see Out of Date as soon as possible. Gizmo will always make time for you. Without your help, that monster will uproot the Tree of Life. Says they like your kind. Says you should take care. Gizmo will always make time for you. Say There's a serenity about this spot. That's a mind monitor from the days gone. A device that blip-screened smart matter. What looks like the inputters need to be linked to get the mind monitor to boot up. Just a few moves left. Make them count. The inputters need to be linked to boot the mind monitor. The wrong state of mind matters too. The inputters need to be linked to boot the mind monitor. It's mind over matter. Software over hardware. Success is peace of mind. Are you scared yet? It's getting dark. Go on, catch it. Let's get that mount moving while the getting is good. Look at that plastic scrap, just waiting for someone to do something with it. You're in pain. Better than nothing. Don't let it wander. Point it. Spot that fixer-upper? Got to be something worthwhile in it.
Manasulu kubu
Hates that you're wasting your time trying...
la rakoitit.
Kau awen mono azwa.
This thing needs new bounce orbers. You found Boulder Broke. Toxanol used this place to make big rocks into small ones. They just ground everything down. Can't be... Says you should take it easy. This is called suburbia, a place to get away from the city stink. The Yerp Fields, where the echo of your actions resounds clearer than any other place you'll find, except for where that's not true. That's an Aurora totem. Legend has it that activating the four of them together will... There it is, the Tree of Life. The idea that all life is related by common descent, where the twigs are existing species and those produced in the past represent the succession of the extinct. The tree's great branches were once budding twigs, a connection between the past, present, and future. A representation of all extinct and living species with its ever-branching and beautiful ramifications. We are an evolution of those that came before. This won't be a field trip. It's the real thing. Let's see. It's a place well hidden. It's just below the above. Out of Date's impressed you made it this far, but there's still so much left to do. The end of the world is still on everyone's minds. You've beaten a path where you have the power to destroy or save everyone. Question is, what you'll do with that responsibility. He can sense that your heart beats steadily and acknowledges that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Thinks it's important that you remember who you are and where you came from. He promises he'll be there for you. Just come talk to him beneath the tree if you're feeling lost. Out of Date says there's a time for everything. And now there's no use thinking of the past, for it's gone. Think of the present, because that's where you are. It's time to set your priorities as the one who completes things. If you continue to do good, good will follow you. If the world really does end, there won't be anywhere to run. So he's prepared. He hopes you're right. He gets that you mean the journey continues either way, but personally he wants the tree to survive. Out of Date says there's no clear record of the chain of events that changed the course of history and brought the world to its knees. He's found evidence on the Ark, records of a crisis, decades of contamination that permeated the ground and broke its inner core. The contamination disrupted what we now know as key energy, the life force that runs through all things, living and inanimate. He's been told the blight affected everything at a genetic level and turned our perception of normality on its head. It was only those that changed that avoided extinction, proving that the possibility for survival and renewal was real. He understands you are curious about the ship at the foot of the tree. He says it surfaced when the oil broke through the ground. The Ark predates the back-in days, and now, after years of study of the manuals he found inside, he believes he's figured the ship out. The Ark has room for 4 more, and he trusts you'll apply wisdom to your compassion and choose whom to save if the world comes to end. He'll keep the seats open, and you are free to invite up to 4 others to join you in the Ark in the event of a cataclysm. Out of Date says that from what he's heard, you've been busy. He says he appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's got urgent news from his friend Goop in the southeast. Out of Date says that even though he's unsure about your intentions, he hopes you'll support Goop. He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Goop and making sure he gets what he needs is up to you. That's the sound of impending doom. Out of Date's premonitions of imminent disaster are true. The porcupine needs to be handled. Out of Date says that Goop is worried now that the Southeast World Eater is stepping up its activity. He explains that Goop is working on a goo-gliding vessel in order to get to the World Eater, but needs help to get it done. Out of Date suggests that you should head southeast as fast as possible and see what you can do to help. He wonders what's on your mind. He says you really need to go see Goop as soon as possible. He wonders what's on your mind. Says talking to you was interesting. Wonder what you can find down here. Looks good. Let's see.